star has enough food to feed the world, why wouldn't there so many of us so there are people still alone? Why are the vessels called peacekeepers when they're aimed to kill? Why is a woman still not safe when she's in her home? Love is here.
Hello, vinyl community. Elliot here, Lazy Dogs Records. We were just listening to a little bit of Tracy Chapman and the song from her debut album, Why. Of course, she is the topic of this video and the recent reissue of her album, her debut album. I'm not going to do an A-B comparison of the two. I do have a copy of the OG as well, and I've listened to both of them recently. But my purpose is not to go into detail picking apart every aspect of each recording, the positives and negatives of each. That's not my thing. I put a link down here to David Bianco's Texas Safe and Sound Audio Excursion video, where he does just that. From an audiophile's perspective, a deep dive into this reissue comparing to the OG. So that's the place to go, or one of the places to go. A lot of people have done these videos, but that's one of the places to go for that. But I'll talk a little bit about both. Now, you're probably aware that this is a very, very valuable record as a used record. The OG is. I saw at the Wilson Records show about a month ago, one of the sellers had this on his display wall, had it marked for $90. Now that was high. Yeah, I doubt anybody's going to go in there and put down $90 for that, but probably a negotiating starting point for him if somebody is really interested. These are regularly going, VG Plus copy of this is regularly going for $50, $60, $70. My copy I found at a junk store about 5 or 6 years ago. I probably paid, it's hard to say because I had a bunch of records from it at one time, but I didn't pay but a few dollars for this. This is probably in the condition that it's in, and it has issues. The cover and the inner sleeve is a little wrinkled up, and most importantly, the vinyl. It plays well, but it's not a VG Plus playing record. It's more like a high-end VG. It plays with some surface noise. This is, $30 to $40 record in the condition that it's in. So it's great that in commemorating the 35th anniversary, although technically it's been 37 years, but it took a while to get it just right, to get it out, to commemorate that and to satisfy demand for this album. There is a new remastered re-release of this album. Bernie Grudman did the mastering on this, with Tracy Chapman playing a key role in supervising and everything, meeting to her approval and that sort of thing. And here's the thing, people talk about audiophile recordings, and you're going to have to pay $45, or you're going to have to pay $80 or $120 for these audiophile recordings to get something that sounds really good. No, you do not have to pay that type of money. Albums can be made in the $18 to $30 range, depending on licensing and things like that, which can affect it, cause it to cost a little more. But this record sells for less than $25. Okay, and so this is a good deal on a excellent recording. Now it comes in the black vinyl, as you see here, but it also comes in a red and an orange variant. And if you're interested in colored vinyl, if you like to collect those, that's maybe the route you want to go with that. I personally prefer black vinyl because, for maintenance purposes, you can see any dust, any imperfections on the record. And when you're cleaning it, it's much easier to to clean when because you know what you're working with because of that uh, black background you're working with. Okay, it comes with the inner sleeve, which I always replace the inner sleeve, just like the original. And an added feature is because this is being sold internationally, it comes with an additional liner note uh, that has the lyrics in various other languages, which I think is an interesting. I've never seen anybody actually, any recording actually come out doing that before. So I think that's interesting. Um, Now, this is a digital recording recorded in 1988. So they recorded it digitally, and then it was transferred to an analog tape for Bernie Grudman to remaster it. I think it was the tapes from 1988 that he was using. I don't think he took the digital, you know, recording of it and transferred it to tape, a couple of years ago when they were putting this together. I think they had those tapes. A lot of people don't like digital. They think it's too cold, too inhuman. Uh, the analog has more warmth, it's more natural sounding. I would disagree. Uh, you'd probably be, a lot of people would be pretty surprised that are these purists about analog, how much of what they're listening to and they think it's all analog is actually uh, some digital step involved in there somewhere, done correctly. And certainly Bernie Grubman can do it done correctly. A digital recording uh, made for a vinyl release can be done, excellently. I think I think people are gradually coming to that realization rather than being such staunch purists. Uh, there have been some audiophiles complaining about a couple of issues here. Uh, Specifically, some of the color variants. Some people are complaining that there's a little bit of noise on the recording, some non-feel, which would be that sound you might get from a recording, having to do with the cooling down and the eating and cooling process of the recording, could lead to some of that. And some people have said that they hear, and I don't doubt that they hear, okay, that they hear some pre-echo. Uh, I'm no expert. Pre-echo, basically, just before you will use vocals, for instance, because that's what they're usually talking about. Just before a vocal begins, I'm talking about a millisecond before, you know, zero point 0.5 seconds before or something, that they can hear uh, in the groove just before the groove that starts the vocals. They can hear a ghosting of those vocals in there. And people have, used equipment and, got it and, turned it up loud enough and everything. And they say, here it is, but I can assure you, I've listened to this album several times in the last uh, week or so. And there's two songs in particular they talk about they can hear pre-echo in. And I hear absolutely nothing, nothing. That's one of the things about this record, uh, specifically the black vinyl, which I have. Can't speak to the colored vinyl, but the floor on this is black or transparent or whatever term you want to use. The bass line is silent, completely silent, plays beautifully. And it's now I listened to the uh, OG just before I started shooting the video. Hadn't listened to it in particular in a while. And it sounded wonderful, except it had some surface noise. It's a really, really good recording. It was DMM, if that means anything to you, direct metal master, I believe, when they originally put it out in '88. and it sounds really good. But I'm not here to do an A/B comparison. That's not my thing. Uh, but listening to the album, listening to the new album, so it didn't have any, sound uh, issues in it. Listening to the original album, it really, really sounds beautiful. I think her vocals are up as high as they'll go before you're going to get any distortion or sharpness from her vocals on a couple of tracks, but they don't go too far. They don't go beyond that point. They don't. It sounds really good. Uh, the instruments are beautifully placed in the recording. People talk about sound stage and separation and air in the song and things like that. Those little catchphrases. I'll just tell you this: when I'm sitting in the chair with the speakers in front of me and that music is coming through, it just sounds really, really natural and really beautiful. Certain instruments stand out, others are more in the background. Her vocals are, coming at you, and you can talk about placement and things like that. But it just sounds natural. It sounds excellent. It's mixed very well. One of the things that I had kind of forgotten or maybe didn't even notice back when I was listening to it years ago uh, is how prominent the percussion is on this album. The drums and other percussion instruments seem to be kind of up front along with her vocals. And there's plenty of guitar and there's some organ and there are other things, some electric guitar. There's different things added to it. But whereas I would have thought more in my mind of the acoustic guitar being up front, uh, the guitar work is more subtle, more over here or backed up a little bit on a lot of the songs. It's more prominent in some songs than others. But that was just a couple of things that struck me. The importance of the percussion in this recording, and maybe a de-emphasis on nobody's taking a big guitar solo on this, obviously. Okay, so all that said, this is a great bargain for $25. Now, I definitely, you know, wouldn't go out and buy the OG uh, because this is available. I just wouldn't. Uh, so it'll be interesting to see what happens to the prices on these OGs now that this reissue has occurred. I suspect they might drop a little bit, but I don't think they're going to drop all the way because there are people that are always going to be out there specifically wanting that OG. So we'll see. But now this gets to the main point I have to make about this reissue. And that is, like, I believe the people are missing the forest for the trees. Everybody is talking about the recording, the remastering, how Bernie Grubman might have done this or that, or whether there's a pre-echo in here or is there some non-fill and all this stuff. But we're missing the forest for the trees. And the forest is this recording was made by a young lady that previous to this was busking in Boston. Uh, this is a protest album, people. Everybody's missing that point, or they're not acknowledging it, or they're looking around it. This is a damn protest album, people, from 1988. My gosh, the first song on here is talking about a revolution. You hear me, people? It's talking about a revolution. It's There are so many societal and political issues that are addressed on this album. This album with about 10 songs on it only 2 are love songs. All the rest of the songs are deep political or societal concerns that she raises, both based on her own experience and what she's seeing around her. The lyrics, people, she's a folk singer. It's the lyrics.
Life I've always wanted, I guess I'll never have. I'll be working for somebody else until I'm in my grave. I'll be dreaming of a life of ease and mountains, oh, mountains of thanks. Have a big expensive car, drag my furs on the ground. Have a maid I can tell to bring me anything. Everyone will look at me with envy and with greed. Now revel in their attention and mountains, oh mountains of thanks. Sweet lazy life, champagne and caviar. Hope you come and find me, 'cause you know who we are. Those who deserve the best in life know what the money's worth. Those whose sole misfortune is having mountains on nothing at birth.
You hear her? You hear her? Here's a list I made of the issues she brings up in this album: economic inequality, greed, exploitation, caregiving, mental health, faith, racism, classism, tribalism, violence, domestic violence in particular sometimes, hatred, misunderstanding, world hunger, the military industrial complex, government spending priorities, gender equality. And I bet if you listened, you could say, oh, you left out this or that. But it's the words, people. It's the words. And a recording made in 1988 rings so true in 2025. At a period of time when it appears we may be going through, a new Gilded Age, where we have threats around the world of authoritarianism, where people continue to starve, where people continue to live under tyranny, where wars are going on. This is a damn protest album, people. I want you not just to worry about the soundstage on this record, but really listen, think, reflect, question yourself. That's what this is all about, people. Remember, be kind to your neighbors. We're all neighbors. Love your brothers and your sisters, okay? And listen to this album. Listen to what she's saying. Take care.